Alright there VC, it's Steve Whitty here. It's Saturday morning. I've got that week off work feeling. Sun isn't shining. I think it's going to be a bit more overcast, and we had to have some rain last night, which was more than welcome. This video is a recent finds video. It's slightly different. This is all CDs I'm going to be showing, and the CDs I'm showing I was given a batch of CDs. It was a mixture of rock and jazz. So I'm going to show you some of the rock, and maybe there's a bit of a pop element in some of them. And I'll show the jazz CDs at a later date. Some quite interesting ones in that. Hope everyone's well. So I might as well get cracking. First CD. Whoop, get it in the right way up. It's Mr. Biggs, Lean Into It. Sorry. Released, I believe, in 1991. Probably the band's biggest album. Probably best known track would be With You, To Be With You. It was their only hit single in the UK. And if it's followed this trend at that time, where rock bands were having hit singles with like acoustic ballads, just the guitar and acoustic guitar and the singer, extreme more than words sort of springs to mind when I see that. Not a bad album actually. I was quite pleased to get that. Band that I really like, and I was pleased to have. I've got some of their vinyl, but I've got also to have some of their CDs. Now is Cheap Trick. This is Heaven Tonight from 1978. There you go. All the band featured. On here you got Surrender, a version of the Moose, California Man. Big fan of Roy Wood. Rick Nielsen is, and you've also got what else? Auf Wiedersehen. That's another favourite of mine. Great sort of power pop album. Probably their best album would be the 1979 release Dream Police. You got the title track Way of the World, Need Your Love. It's almost damn near a perfect album. And around this point, Tom Peterson left the band, and he was replaced by John Brandt on bass. And his first contribution, though he didn't play on all the album, was One on One. And you've got here, If You Want My Love's probably the best known track on here. So say Rick Nielsen played the majority of the bass, but John Brandt came in at that time. Next one is Next Position, Please. The pop sort of element came into this more on this album. Not as good an album, and took it. I've mentioned about bad cover versions. They do a version of the Motors Dancing the Night Away, which may be of interest to James Griffiths to have a listen, but it's not great. And that's probably been diplomatic when I say that. Another Cheap Trick album. This is Standing on the Edge, and the sun is now just rising as I'm recording this. This is from 1985. Again, sort of continuing in sort of pop vein. Got Little Sister. It's got Motion, Standing on the Edge, Rock All Night, Wild Wild Women. It's actually not a bad album. It's an improvement on Next Position, Please. John Brandt was only going to end up recording one more album with Cheap Trick before he left when Tom Peterson came back. And by all accounts, he wasn't upset. He was quite pleased to move over. So it's one of those, somebody is asked to leave, and it's done in the best interest. And he has appeared on stage with the band a couple of times, but when it's come to performing songs from that era. Still with Cheap Trick. This is their self-titled album from 1999. This is their second album they called just Cheap Trick. Now, if you're aware, their album from 1978, you'll have Robin Zander and Tom Peterson on the front, and Rick Nielsen and Bunny Carlos on the back. And I sort of flicked it a little bit. And you've got Rick Nielsen's guitar and Bunny Carlos's drum, and then you've got Robin Zander's guitar and Tom Peterson's bass on the back. This is not a bad album. This came out in 1997. I thought it was 1999, and it's pretty much sort of disappeared almost straight away because the distribution company went bust. I think it was Red Ant Recordings. But there's a track on here called Shelter, and I thought this, and I was listening to this, and this is basically about loss. It's sort of lamenting that the mother and the father are no longer around, and it did bring a tear to my eye. It's when sometimes you listen to a song, you get that moment where you hear something, and just stops you in your tracks, and that was that in that case. Still on the Cheap Tricks vein, this is Robin Zander's solo album. Now this was, I'm looking to see when it was released. God, blimey, God, I hate CDs. The writing's so small. I think it's 1993. Produced by Jimmy Iovine, and it got Mike Campbell. It's quite a big job. It's very much a pop album, this. I'm trying to think it's on here. There's a version of Show Me Heaven, which Maria McKee wrote, and it was got to number 1 in the UK. And Maria McKee actually appears in this. It's a pop album. It's not a rock album. It's not bad, but not great. I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way to listen to it again. But if I do pick it out, I'll have another listen. Yeah, I will. So that's enough of the Cheap Trick. This is Danger Danger. This is their second album. Screw It. Band that I wasn't aware of. This is, as I say, this is their second album, released in 1991. I mean, you're talking about the time just before grunge kicked in. Sort of your typical sort of pop metal band at that time. I would describe it as pop metal. It ticks all the boxes. A few rock tracks, a couple of ballads. The band sort of disappeared not long afterwards. If I was to rate it in footballing terms, this is pretty much bordering on Championship League One. It's okay for what it is. Something that's infinitely more better. This is Dan Reed Network. This is a debut album from 1988. Rituals on here, which I believe was a minor hit single in the US. Really, it was good. I think what drew people in, because it wasn't just rock, he was combining funk in here as well, which was pretty radical at the time. Then you also had Living Colour doing pretty much the same thing. So, it's a really good album. If you haven't heard it, it's worth checking out. You can find it at CD or just a vinyl copy. A band that I was aware of, I'd heard the name, but up until yesterday, I'd never listened to anything by him before. Dokken. Now, this is a 1999 compilation, the very best of. Again, it sort of ticks the boxes. There's some ballads, some more rockier numbers. Now, I am aware that there's a bit of a fractious history with Dokken and the guitarist George Lynch. I think they were apparently high school friends. Jeff Pilson was on basically second bass player. I'm trying to think the name of the drummer at the moment, who's been in all the time. It's okay. I actually want to say it's okay. I actually quite enjoyed listening to this. So I might, if I see it on CD or if it's on cheap vinyl, if I see it one of their albums, I might pick them up. They never really meant anything in the UK. I don't think they ever headlined tour. They might have supported, done us a few support slots, but okay. Another band I was familiar with but never heard anything really prior, Fishbone. Now this is their album. I'm going to try and read this. Blimey. The Reality of My Surroundings. That's better. No, it was alright, and this album came out in... I'm going to have to change my glasses, I think. I think it was 1991 again. sort of just about predating. Yeah, again, funk, rock, makes me want to check out some more of their stuff. Something that might surprise you, but as it was given to me, I probably wouldn't seek it out. It's Nelson. This is their album After the Rain. They're the two Ricky Nelson's son. I'm trying to think. Gunner's one of the names of one of them. Let's see what the other one's called. Matthew. Something to Matthew and Gunnar Nelson. Rick Nelson's children. I think they were twins. Correct me if I'm wrong. I probably am. Very pop, sort of like pop rock. Very popular in the States. I think After the Rain got to #1. I'm not sure. Again, correct me. Yeah, again, not too bad. Yeah. Probably something I wouldn't listen to in 1988, but now, maybe it's a bit older. Vocalist I always enjoy Steve Perry. This is his second solo album, released in 1994, I believe. For the Love of Strange Medicine. Yeah, I actually enjoyed that. I haven't listened to his debut one, so I can't really compare. My views of Steve Perry stem from his time in Journey. He pretty much disappeared long after that. Maybe he's a bit of a perfectionist, or maybe he just doesn't want to sing anymore. Maybe he's got enough money in the bank to think, I don't need the hassle. But I think it's a good one. Let's see, one of the tracks, Young Hearts Forever, is dedicated to Phil Lynott. He was apparently mates with Phil. And No One Raised on Radio, they dedicated that album Journey did to the memory of Phil Lynott. Talking of Journey, this is their 2001 album, Arrival, and this features Steve Ugeri on vocals, who was pretty much sounds as a Steve Perry sounded like. I think it's the only album they ever recorded with him. Not a bad album. I enjoyed that. Another band, Shy. I was aware of the name, but never heard anything of them before. I think they were from Birmingham. But very much steeped in that sort of like late 80s hair metal. Yeah, I wasn't too bad. This was a bit of a surprise to be given. This is Rick Springfield Anthology. It is a surprise because this was, I believe, only ever released in Australia. So somebody must have gone on holiday and just liked it and brought it back, and then dished it out, because even the competition on the hype sticker, it's for Australia. It's for Australia. Obviously, Jesse's Girl, I'll Do Everything for You, Human Touch. Talking of awful cover versions, there's one of Eleanor Rigby. There you go. And then the final CD in this batch is Vain, No Respect. I was aware of the name, I think the singer Davey Vain or something like that. This is from 1989. I'm not sure if this was the debut. This is a 2004 reissue. That's okay. Again, pretty much okay for that vein. So there you go, VC. Those are the CDs I was given, rock CDs. So I hope you enjoyed them. Feel free to comment on them. Some of it's a bit diverse. So if you stumbled across my channel and you like what you see, click on the subscribe button. 218, not bad. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Love the interaction. As I said, feel free to comment. I will try and get back to you. So enjoy your Saturday, whatever you get up to, VC. And until the next time, take care of yourselves, keep spinning, and more importantly, keep smiling. See you later.